Well, good morning, my friend. Monday morning, and welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. Good to have you along with me today to get another week started. Last week of September, and of course, next Sunday, first Sunday of October. Looking forward to that. We're just a couple of weeks away here at Maranatha Baptist Church from our fall campaign. The theme's going to be CIA, Christians in Action, and 3-week campaign. Looking forward to that. And we always end up with our annual hog roast. Looking forward to seeing what God can do with that. And I hope that you are looking forward to a good fall time of the year. Don't get so wrapped up in the sports and college sports so that you stay away from soul winning. Invite people out. Get people to your church. And let me tell you something. You'd be surprised if everybody started inviting people to church and got people into the church, how everybody would enjoy their church a whole lot better if you just got involved. Invite people, bring people, get excited about your church, and you'll be surprised what God can do through you and your life. Well, I want to talk to you today about leaders producing leaders. In Exodus chapter 18 and verse 20, it says, "And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do." One of the greatest needs of every generation are leaders who produce leaders. If a leader doesn't produce other leaders, then the leader's abilities and knowledge will only be a one-generation wonder. However, when leaders produce leaders, what they do and know becomes a multi-generational leader, which is simply fulfilling the Great Commission. Now, Moses' father-in-law was a great leader. His knowledge in teaching Moses how to lead Israel may have saved Moses much stress and allowed him to teach Joshua how to lead Israel after he went to heaven. You see, the wisdom of Moses was to follow his father-in-law's advice. Moses was doing everything himself, and his father-in-law gave him great advice that if followed by every leader, that leader can become a leader who produces other leaders. Now, I want to point out how you can become a leader who produces other leaders. First, you must teach. You've got to teach. A leader who never teaches is a leader who never produces leaders. Teaching is not easy, and it's often inconvenient, but it's the key to producing other leaders. Teaching comes in two forms. It's in verbal lessons, and it concludes in lessons by life example. You must take the time to teach those who follow you, but then you've got to put into action what you teach them so they can see it with their own eyes and learn how to do what's right by following you. Now, what are you to teach them? Teach them right and wrong. Those you lead need to hear you to be definitive on what is right and what is wrong. You cannot have gray areas and teach. Those who follow you will never know what they should or should not do if you are not clear about right and wrong. By the way, let me stop right here and just say this. You can't be moving things around. It's got to be absolutes, right, wrong. I remember a preacher one day, he said, well, what I do for one, I don't have to do for all. Then that's why you produce gray areas. And can I be honest with you? That's when people start going astray because they don't have definitive right and wrong. Be specific about rights and wrongs is a leader's responsibility who wants to produce other leaders who will do right. Not only that, but you must teach them the way. So Moses' father-in-law told Moses, he says, show them the way. Now, there are right and wrong ways to do things. There's a right and wrong way to live, and you must teach the leaders under you the methods on how you do things, so they will know how to do it themselves when they lead. You must show them the way of the old paths, so they'll know which direction to go, and that way they understand it. Understand that's what they need to understand. Not only that, you must also teach them work. Other leaders will not know the structure and organization of how you do things if you don't teach them. It is critical for the future of what you're doing to teach others your organizational structure and the principles which guide you in your work. You cannot reproduce yourself if you don't teach others your principles and organizational structure of doing things. Now, second, you've got to be a leader by example. The greatest lessons are often the example you live in front of others. People learn more by watching you than they ever will in a classroom. I'm not against the classroom, but people are watching you. Those you lead will mainly follow your example more than your words. Most failure by a follower is a failure of a leader who does not live by example what they expect their followers to do. Finally, a leader must let the follower lead in their area of leadership. Now, don't meddle when they're leading. They may not lead to your ability, but they will take the pressure off you to allow you to lead the whole organization in the way that God wants you to lead it. Leadership is not always easy, but your desire is to produce others like you, reproducing yourself. I hear people say, well, I'm my own man. They're an idiot too. I'll be honest with you, because nobody's their own man. Everybody learned from somebody. You're a copy of somebody. And let me put it this way. You're copies of several. You're a copy of several somebodies. I'm not just, I've been influenced by so many people. And I've copied what they do, and that's what makes me. Am I my own man? Absolutely not. I am what others have taught me, and you are what others have taught you. To become your own man means this: you're not following the Lord, because God taught disciples, the disciples taught others, and all the way down. Listen to me. We're all a copy of someone, but we've got to teach. We've got to teach. Teaching isn't always easy. Teaching is sometimes inconvenient. Teaching is sometimes tiring, but you got to teach. You got to let them know. Have those absolutes. Have the right and the wrong. And when you have the right and the wrong, you'll find out that you can produce other leaders, so that what you believe becomes multi-generational. It passes on from one generation to the next to the next. And that's what God wants us to do. Well, my friend, I hope this helps you in whatever area that you're leading in today. Now, this week, and especially today, let's be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.